Alright guys, back on the line again, southern West Virginia. This old road we're traveling here is absolutely ate up with coyote and cat tracks, so we're looking to pick up these predators. And the reason being that they're using this is it's an old mine reclaim pond here, and then of course running along this side of the property is a river, and they're heavily traveling it to get to these water sources. There's a big game trail coming off the hill here. It comes down into this road, and again it's just ate up with coyote and cat tracks. So we're gonna punch a set in. We got our stuff out here. We're gonna punch a set in right here. That way anything that comes down this trail or comes out this road is gonna come right by this set. So let us get this thing set up. We'll be right back. All right guys, we're back. We're gonna punch this set in. We're gonna put it on a drag. There is some ATV traffic on this. A lot of folks bring their kids down here to fish in that little pond. Let's talk for a second about the drag setup. Run a good drag, a heavy drag, good pointed drag. We run it on about 10 foot of chain. Of course, I just put swivels on each end. We run a shock spring about 24 inches down off the chain. One thing we do is we run #2 twist link. The reason being is because, of course, we don't necessarily need it here, but this twist link chain leaves a definitive pattern in the road. If a coyote would happen to hit a road and take the drag down the road before it got hung up, the twist link leaves a pretty definitive pattern in the dirt and the mud. And then something else that's small, the links are small and they're twisted. Now, a lot of times what will happen is if you use a big giant chain with a drag, if it doesn't hang up quick, these points a lot of times will want to get in, go through those links, and then sometimes they cause you drag to bind. So that's pretty much what we use. We get a lot of questions about swivels. I don't put a bunch of swivels in my chain. You know, that's up to you if you want to. Never ever had a problem with dogs getting in a bind. It's swiveled here. It's swiveled here at the shock spring, and then it's swiveled on the end. That seems to be good enough for us. But anyway, highly effective. If you're not using drags, I think if you get them out on your line, you'll like them. And the last thing is the new Duke 550 Pro Series. It's been pretty good for us. And again, we're in southern West Virginia, so if you hear that, that's rocks. It's definitely not farm country. That's what we're setting traps in, and I'm telling you, it makes it difficult. Pretty much does your bed for you though. Warm today, but the weather's been freezing, so I just basically use a little ice melt or driveway heat in the bottom of the trap bed. These things are night latched. That's nice. All right, so in a lot of places, if the ground's conducive to it, guys will actually bury their drag in the same hole they put their set in. You dig a big hole, you know, put the drag and the chain in the hole, throw some stuff in on top of it, bed your trap on top of it. You can't do that where I'm at. You're just not going to be able to dig a hole big enough. So what we do, and I'll show you, is we're going to pre-hook the drag over there, but I just run a little bit of the chain basically outside the bed. A little tip about bedding traps. I see a lot of guys struggling with bedding traps. Dig a small hole and force that trap in that hole. It's easier to make a small hole and then dig a little bit bigger if you have to than to make a big giant hole and then pack a bunch of stuff in around it, especially when you get a bunch of freeze-thaw weather. So polyfill under the pan cover. They don't have a trapper's cap for this trap yet, I don't think. Just a matter of choice. And then peat moss. And again, as a matter of personal preference, some guys just throw the moss in. I like to actually work mine in down around the jaws. It helps insulate it, and plus it helps me bed the trap better. Always know where that pan is. Save yourself a little heartache. And that's pretty much all the chain I'll put in the ground. The rest of it I'll leave out. And of course, whether you use flake antifreeze, calcium chloride, stock salt, we just use regular table salt. It seems to work for us. It's just a matter of personal preference. All right. All right, in this weather, what we've been using to top this off, instead of sifting this stuff back in, it's soaking wet and have a chance of it freezing on us. I've been covering these sets with freeze-proof dirt. Stuff is excellent. I like to try to, instead of just on the trap bed, I like to kind of throw it around the whole area a little bit. Then I'll take my broom. Rough all that up, and then I like to take a rock, use it as my backing. I know my pan's right there. I like to hug that. I like to hug that trap with that rock, and then I like to take another rock. A lot of guys don't. They don't want anything around their bed. I like to take another rock, just work it in right there, like it's been there. And then with this set, all we're going to do, punch a hole there. Punch a hole there. Trapping time coyote gland. Find something to put it in there with. And it doesn't take much, but they're breeding right now, so I always try to use some gland. I'll put it in the hole. And also smear some just right up here on top. And then a lot of guys completely go away from bait right now, but I still occasionally use bait and a hole. This is trapping time back 40. I know it's just a small punch hole, but I can't make a very big hole here, so And the last thing I do is this time of year I always use good urine at every set. Some guys do, some guys don't. And then what we'll do, I'll pull this drag over here, and I like to at least put them in the ground. And there's a couple reasons why. When that coyote or cat pulls that hook, I'm going to be able to see which way the dirt pulled with it. So that'll tell me kind of where to start looking. So theoretically, we want this dog or cat to get popped and head to that riverbank where nobody will see him. Another reason I bury these, especially where there's traffic, you don't want somebody backing over and puncturing a tire, because then you're going to have problems. Anyway, that's all there is to it. Simple set. This time of year we like to use gland. So we'll let this thing soak for a few days. Hopefully before long we'll have a dog. Catch you guys later. Alright guys, we're back here on the line. If you remember, we made this coyote set here the other day. We just used this rock and basically put some trapping time coyote gland on that rock, some urine. We'll come back in here today to check the traps. Of course, it's always nice to see that blown peat hole and the trap gone. But you can see where the I had the chain. Remember, I buried the chain. Of course, here's where we had it. Here's where we had that drag buried. And what I was telling you, you can see where he pulled the drag and the stuff came out this way. Of course, it pulled up stuff over here. Of course, when we start looking, you can see right there's where you can tell something's happened. And of course the drag's hooked up right here. And the dog trap. I hope you got, yeah. I don't know if you can see it on the video. See the dog hiding down there? Probably not. Yeah, he's hiding on this rock down here. And generally that's what they'll do. They'll go for cover. So let me get this dog out of here, and then we'll be right back with this remake. Alright, show you how quick and easy this remake is. Another beauty of drags, the set doesn't get blown out. super solid trap bed. Of course, you pretty much run your chain right back where it was. Little polyfill. Peat moss, a little bit of salt again. And that's it. My dirt. Alright, take that broom, rough it back up just a hair. There's that rock I used. I always like to make it look like it's been there. And all that does is keep him on this side. He never made it to the bait hole and the lure hole. The lure's still on a rock. You don't have to do anything. Basically, bury that drag again. Ready to go again. Guys, these are quick, easy sets. Throw a drag in, you don't have to anchor it. Takes all the time and effort out of it. And as you can see, it works. I think if you try these drags, you'll like them. Catch you somewhere else down the line.